how did you initially get into music?
Initially get into music. Well, when I moved away from New York to Atlanta, I started listening to a lot of Outkast and T.I. With my uncle, he was already living in Atlanta, so he was like recording in his house. And when I moved over there, he had like a studio set up. So I was just messing around. I never recorded on his stuff, but you know, that's how I really started messing with the music.
Speaking of your relocation from Queens to Atlanta, do you want to elaborate on the reason for your relocation?
My mom and my dad was separating, and my dad, he had a job here in New York, so he really didn't want to leave. So my mom just packed us up, and we left.
Do you think that moving away from New York to Atlanta also impacted your music in another way?
Oh yeah, of course. I probably think maybe if I didn't move, I wouldn't be doing music at all, maybe, you know what I'm saying?
I read somewhere that your name used to be Black Boy the Kid, so if you could explain why you changed it and the significance of both names?
Because I got rich. So I was getting rich the kid, that's why I changed it.
Can you talk about your label situation and how you linked with 300 and Quality Control?
Well, Coach K, he was like, he came to the house when we was over there in the bando, or the spot we was recording, you know what I'm saying, the house that we stayed at. And you know what I'm saying, he was telling us, stay out the streets and, you know what I'm saying, keep working. So then he started Quality Control with COP, and then they brought us over to Quality Control and we started working and stuff like that.
Do you have any good working relationships with anybody in the new class coming from Atlanta besides Migos that you like working with or that inspires you to push you further?
Wiring the label, you know what I'm saying? People in our camp, QC, of course.
So is there anybody that you want to collaborate with that you haven't already?
Probably Meek.
Why?
Because he original. I feel like he's more original than anybody else, you know what I'm saying, out right now.
Can you speak on releasing your mixtapes while you were also DJing?
Yeah. Really, it was just like, at one point, I was hitting up DJs to put my songs on mixtapes, and they'd be like, yo, you gotta give me this or give me that. And I ain't have money to pay them, or I'd be doing like illegal stuff to go get it. So I was like, instead of doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and make my own mixtapes, put my own music on there, you know what I'm saying? And at the time, Migos stuff on there with me, you know what I'm saying? We was coming up together and then put it out there, and that's how we did it.
Speaking of the Migos, some refer to you as the unofficial Migos member. How did you guys link up?
When I first heard Migos, like next day, I hit up their DJ, Ray G, and I was like, yo, we gotta do a mixtape. And then like the next day, or matter of fact, the same night, I went to the club and I seen him there. And then after the club, we went to the studio, and then we were recording. You know what I'm saying? We've been history since, family.
So I don't know if you've seen Noisy's Atlanta documentary.
Yeah.
It kind of depicts the new Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, Migos and Young Thug have a track called New Atlanta. Do you want to explain to us all what you would consider New Atlanta and what it represents?
New Atlanta, just the new voice of Atlanta, you know what I'm saying? New voice. I really feel of the generation, the music. But really, New Atlanta, we stick together. I feel like New Atlanta right now just like what keeps everything going. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody does, a lot of people do look to Atlanta for all the new hotter stuff. So I think it can really keep the streets going.
It seems like Gucci Mane is a big staple in that movement and that he influences you guys a lot. If you can talk about his ethic, seeing as how he just dropped 3 projects from jail.
It's crazy, you know what I'm saying? Gucci, he always dropping new music, like nonstop. Actually, I was featured on one of his albums that he just dropped last week on the Lunch album. So yeah, Gucci's always working.
Can you talk about a lot of the other people outside of your circle copying what is now called the Migos flow? And why do you think it's been so influential?
Because everybody trying to just duplicate and copy, you know what I'm saying, what they think is going to get them on. You know what I'm saying? Everybody want to have that same style, have that same flow, have that same sound. It's not, you can't do it. It's not possible.
I'm trying to battle John Cena. Can somebody find John Cena's management? WWE, somebody find John Cena and let's make this happen.
So let's be super honest here, and I'm gonna be really frank and a little uncouth. I'm not gonna suck a dick unless I'm gonna do it great. I'm not gonna write a book unless I'm gonna do it great. I'm not gonna cook a meal unless I'm not gonna touch anything unless I plan on doing it better than anyone else you've ever met in your entire life.